Jen McGee here, coming at you with a really essential tool for our spiritual toolboxes. Spiritual resolutions or goal setting. It's that time of year where people set resolutions for a new year, right? And this new year is quickly approaching, so it's timely information. So people are setting resolutions full of hope that the new year will bring changes and that their resolve to lose weight or to exercise regularly or to make X amount of dollars will come to fruition. You know, sadly, statistics say that of those who make a New Year's resolution, after 1 week, 75% are still successful in keeping it. After 2 weeks, the number drops down to 71%. After 1 month, the number drops again to 64%. And after 6 months, only 46% of people who make a resolution are still successful in keeping it. By year's end, it's estimated of those who set New Year's resolutions but are no longer keeping it rises to 90%. However, those that set resolutions fare better than those people who have similar goals but do not set a resolution, where only 4% are still successful after 6 months among those who do not set goals or resolutions. So why is this? Looking at why things don't work oftentimes helps us to utilize the methods that do, right? So what are some reasons that people never achieve their goals or keep their resolutions? Well, several factors come into play, such as unrealistic goals, or they didn't keep track of their progress, or they forgot about their resolutions, or made too many and suffered the dreaded overwhelm. But what about us in Christ? As believers and people of faith, we should certainly have spiritual resolve to be faithful in our walk with God and to aspire to being better each day than the day we were before. Do you set spiritual goals? Putting God first in our life and making Him and our relationship with Him our priority necessitates the need for spiritual goal setting. We should always have goals set for our life's priorities if we wish to grow, advance, and be fulfilled in it. Our spiritual health and fitness requires that we not make short-lived resolutions, but to set goals and have a plan in place to move us closer to those goals, which involves us being in tune with our purpose, our calling, and our hope. And this is the topic of this week's Toolbox Tuesday. Welcome to Empower Tools on High, the Academy's Toolbox Tuesday. Now, recall the reasons that people failed in keeping resolutions, namely unrealistic goals. They didn't keep track of their progress, they forgot about their resolutions, or they made too many and suffered overwhelm. When we examine these reasons by going a few layers deeper, it really comes down to one reason, and here it is. The reason for setting the goal was not compelling enough. They didn't take appropriate time to consider all the reasons why they wanted the resolution and how it would change their life, how important it was to them, and why it's important. So in effect, they were not driven in their purpose to achieve their goal or their resolution. And therefore, when resistance or tiredness or weariness or busyness set in, they abandoned their dream. We need to be very clear on our reasons why. When setting a goal or resolution, we should always write it down and dig deep for our reasons as why we want it. List the ways it'll change our life, and then set up a game plan on the steps we need to take to get there. Sometimes we do not know the steps, but when we are pursuing something we want bad enough, believe me, we tend to find the ways. And more than that, when it aligns with who we are as a person, the law of attraction and abundance and all these things come into play to place the next step before us. This is a purpose-driven goal. A purpose-driven goal is congruent with our calling. It stands to reason then that we need to be clear on both our purpose and our calling. We need to know these two things. What our purpose in life is and what we feel called to within that purpose. What is my purpose? Do you know what your purpose in life is? To arrive at our purpose, we can start by asking ourselves a few thought-provoking questions. We're going to have a couple action steps and activities today. I hope you have your pen and paper ready to take some notes, to jot down these exercises, okay? 1, what is most important in my life? 2, what do I feel I cannot live without? 3, what would make me feel empty, hopeless, lost, or like something is missing and there must be something more if I did not have it in my life? Then there is calling. How is purpose and calling different? Many people have them confused as being the same thing. So the purpose versus calling, I explain the difference in this way. Your purpose is your reason and passion and drive in life that is reflected in your whole being and ideally all that you are and do. Or calling is the actions you take to live within your purpose. Here are a few powerful questions you can ask yourself to find your true calling. 1, what events in my life have caused the most pain and turbulence? 2, how did I overcome the most difficult times in my life? 3, how did it change or transform me? 4, how can I utilize the things I've learned through this life event and experience to help others? You see, most often we find our calling within our purpose and our calling within that purpose through our most trying days and our darkest hours. For it is in these types of events that most often lead to transformation. And then we have the experience and we know how to enlighten and help others that are experiencing the same types of things. And these words ring true. There is more happiness in giving than in receiving. Acts 20:35. So one of the great things about knowing your purpose and your calling is that it gives you hope. As I've equated in the slide here, purpose plus calling equals hope. However, a bit more is needed. The scriptures tell us hope that is seen is no hope at all, meaning once we attain a thing, we no longer hope for it because it's now a reality and not something we are hoping for. But to attain the hope, we must take action to acquire it, correct? It's important to set resolutions and goals that are congruent with your purpose for living. Your spiritual goals are your calling action steps, right? Which in turn gives you fulfillment and purpose, hope, right? You can see in the graph that I made here for how it's a circular process that energizes and initiates each element of purpose, calling, and spiritual goals. Our goals should always move us closer to being actualized in our purpose and our calling. The following questions will help you to set goals that do not just end or temporary, right? But that you can use the answers to measure whether you have attained your goals for measurable progress. So remember, one of the major reasons people do not achieve their goals or keep their resolutions is because they didn't measure their progress. So this is very important to do. And we find the measures in the answers to the questions. Here are some questions to ask yourself when setting purpose and calling-driven goals. Regarding purpose first, remind yourself first of your purpose. Your reason for setting the goal should be compelling and serve your purpose in life. Second, Ask yourself powerful questions. Here's an example of such. 1, what do I truly want? 2, why do I want this? 3, what do I need to do to accomplish this? 4, who do I need to be to accomplish this? 5, how will this serve, reward, or make me feel fulfilled in my purpose? 6, why is this important to me? And 7, how will I measure my progress? And here are some powerful calling questions, right? When we're setting our spiritual resolutions that are calling driven. 1, who do I need to become to accomplish this goal? 2, what do I need to do to be that person? 3, why is this important to me? 4, what is the next best step that I can take right now to move me forward in my calling? Remember, progress, not perfection. You do what you can, not what you can't. And finally, in conclusion, hold on to your hope. Keep it, your compelling why, ever present in front of you. Reflecting on your why daily will help you get through setbacks, disappointments, fumbles, resistance, challenges, obstacles, persecutions, and storms. So, purpose, calling, and hope. I hope this helps you. You might have to go back and review it. But if you took good notes, you've got some great questions there to find the answers that you need to set the purpose and calling driven resolutions and goals that you can be successful in. By the way, today's tool has been a free Approaching Authentic You session that I'm currently offering through my one-on-one elite coaching program, Approaching Zion. If you're interested in having me in your corner, having a safe space for inspired conversations that act as a catalyst for your dreams, where I hold your vision ever present and ask powerful questions that provide insight for you to utilize for your breakthroughs and forward focused movement in your purpose and calling, or if you would love some assistance in discovering what your purpose and calling really is, please PM me or let me know in the comments below. We can schedule a free Approaching Authentic You session and see whether moving forward in a collaborative coaching relationship makes sense for us or not. Thank you so much for your valuable time. I celebrate you for spending this time with me to consider these more important things. I hope you join us again next week for the next tool of our spiritual toolboxes. Until then, may we be setting spiritual goals that are congruent with our purpose and calling. Signing off for now with agape and much, much helium.
But if we are the body